My name is Melissa Humana-Paredes. I was born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I am a member of Team Canada's Olympic national team.
Well, thank you so much for being part of this. And let's jump straight in with the first question about what does being strong mean to you?
When I first think of strength, I think of physical strength, what my body can do in the gym, what my body can do on the court, how it serves me, and how I'm just able to do my job because of the strength of my body. But I think there's so much more behind what strength really means because there's the mental and spiritual and emotional side of strength and the choices you make and the decisions to get up every day and bring your best version of yourself, and to get up when you're not feeling great. I think those are all forms of strength, if not more important than lifting a heavy dumbbell. I think it's about the resiliency of overcoming obstacles and getting it done when you don't feel like it needs to get done. So um, that was a bit of a tangent, but I think that's what strength means to me.
And could you share an experience when you had to be strong and how did you handle it?
I would say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I had to make a very difficult decision about what the trajectory of my future looked like in the sport. And I was very scared to do it because it required a big risk. It required a lot of courage. And it would ultimately mean that there would be a lot of uncertainty in my future. And so by taking on this risk, it required me to be very brave. And I think making that decision, I did it in the best interest of myself, and which is hard for me to do sometimes, to make decisions just for myself. But I was very proud of making such a difficult choice and moving forward in my career and my future the way I did. So I came out of that, on the other side of that, quite fulfilled and happy. And I think it was the right choice for me. In the moment, I didn't know, but looking back now, I'm very happy with the choices I made to be strong in that moment.
It's interesting because sometimes strength is jumping, even though we can't see where we're jumping. It's that almost faith word.
Yeah, it's like having the belief in yourself that you'll be able to do it no matter what, even if there is uncertainty.
And how do you think societal expectations around women affect the concept of strength?
Oh, hugely. While I am grateful to see a movement towards accepting and bringing up women in society, especially in sport, women vouching for themselves and pushing for themselves, and women supporting other women as well to do the same. I think historically there has been kind of a push down of women, where they're not able to amount to the same things maybe that people think men can, for instance, or how society is kind of favored towards men and giving them a leg up in life. And so I actually think having that kind of stigma, or having that role where we've kind of been seen as maybe more inferior, has made us stronger. I think we have so much more to prove to ourselves and to other women to be these role models. We have so much more resiliency knowing that we've managed all these different obstacles and come out on the other side of it. So in a way, I'm kind of grateful for that, because I think it's pushed me in ways that I didn't know was possible, didn't know what I could do. So seeing and having other women before me do these incredible things, I think helps me believe I can do it. And I hope I can do the same for young women coming up as well.
Definitely. But I mean, you inspire me daily as well when I'm watching you train and how
Oh my
you push
gosh.
yourself and your authentic sharing as well about your journey behind the scenes. And
Oh my God. And you are an incredible inspiration for me, I have to say. So it goes both ways.
thank you. And what are some common misconceptions that you might have come about around strength?
I think a common misconception about strength, especially in sports, is that you have to keep pushing through. If you're in pain, push through it. That's strong. You don't want to show any sort of weakness or vulnerabilities. And I feel like that's the biggest misconception, where I think there's so much strength in saying, no, I need rest, or no, I'm feeling a bit insecure right now. And I think that's so strong to be able to have that self-awareness and to vocalize it and to ask for help. I think is probably the most powerful thing you can do. And I think there's just kind of this like stigma around vulnerability and rest. I think rest is so important, and allowing yourself and knowing what you need, and it's different from somebody else, but vouching for yourself, I think is so strong. So yeah, I'm learning that as I get older, where, my body can't do the same, my mind can't do the same as what I used to be able to do. And that's okay. And I think it's strong to be able to know that about yourself and vouch for yourself.
I'm very blessed to be able to have these conversations daily at the moment, and there is a common thread, and it is curious to see that not just Olympians but CEOs or charity founders are saying similar, which is, rest is a strong aspect to them pushing through. And
Absolutely.
you are very driven. You are amazing, multi Olympian record holder, or medal holder, should I say. How has your understanding of strength influenced your approach to goal setting and success?
That's a great question. I think the evolution of how I view strength has informed how I choose to approach my journey now towards Paris and beyond. And a lot of that is rooted in kind of a more joyful, more graceful experience of this all, where I think the images I used to grow up with of these, the GOAT athletes, where it was so aggressive and it was so, sometimes it was like the end all be all at the expense of, humanity in some ways. And that never really resonated with me, where I didn't resonate with those images of strength or those images of this is what you have to do to be the best. That I just had a hard time connecting with that. And so as I got into this later stage of my career and my life, I wanted to kind of rewrite that a little bit and say, no, I think there is room for, vulnerabilities. And I think there is room for, gracious way of operating on the court and kind of more holistic way of operating in sports. And so I think being okay with that and speaking my truth of that version doesn't resonate with me. I want to go this way, and kind of paving your own path. I think that's how I've kind of like evolved and had such a interesting journey with what strength means to me and how I want it to show on the court.
It's an evolution, and you've summed it up that who you were even 5 years ago or even 5 months ago might be very different to who you are today, and the elements of strength do pivot as we grow as well. And from your own experience, have you got a tip or technique that you've developed for nurturing strength?
I think a lot of my narrative around strength and power as a woman has come from conversations with other women and other colleagues, and my teammates and my support systems and my female friends outside of sports as well, different perspectives, and just kind of having open conversations as women, and being transparent about the struggles that we're going through. I think being able to create a community that's supportive, I think, is probably the best tip or trick that I could have had. It's just kind of surrounding yourself with other role models. And I don't think that I would be where I am if I didn't have a community, a support system, but also, women who have done it before me to show me what's possible. And there are so many different niches in that. And I think it's just about kind of putting yourself out there and, joining a group here, joining a commission here, joining an advocacy group here, and exploring that. I think that's been extremely helpful in understanding who I am and what I'm passionate about, what my values are, and who else is along the journey with me.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And when we fall less. There's less to fall because they're there to support us.
Exactly. Totally. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. And curiously, I always ask the first question last as well. So what does being strong mean to you?
I feel like my definition has already changed in this conversation with you. Yeah, I think strength is being able to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and be very proud of who you're choosing to be and what you're choosing to do. And that might look different every day, but if you can look at yourself and say, today I'm choosing me, or today I'm choosing this, or, uh, you know, we wake up, you're not feeling great. Okay, I'm not going to be 80%. I can't be 100%, but I'll be 80% of myself today. And that's okay. If you can be okay with, you know, how you're choosing to live your life, that's strength to me. Important to be able to learn who you are and love yourself through it all, through the highs and through the lows. And yeah, I think having a platform the way that we have platforms and have a story the way that we have stories, being able to tell that story is absolute strength. And everything aside from that, you know, the titles, the awards, the accolades, those are nice. But they're not, you know, they're not the strength for me.
It resonates because it's who you are being every single day behind the scenes before you get on the podium, before you get into the final or have that medal around your neck. That is the hard work that most people don't see or do. And that's where the strength is developed and nurtured.
Yeah, you nailed it. The way you articulate that is perfect. That's what I was trying to say. Exactly.
You inspired me. It's all your words. I just paraphrased to steal the glory at the end. No, not really. Well,
I love it.
thank you so much, Melissa. Honestly, it's hugely insightful to hear your thought process around what does strong mean to you. As you know, it's been a question I've been quizzically asking myself all my life. And yeah, I'm finally seeing it a bit more holistically as well. So thank you so much for your input.